Welcome, chosen one. There comes a time when pretending no longer works, when even the most stubborn minds are forced to face the undeniable truth. For a long time, they overlooked you, misjudged you, even dismissed you. But now, the veil has lifted. They see what they tried so hard to ignore. You are the real deal, the force they never saw coming. They wrote you off, boxed you in, and crafted a false story about who you are. But reality has a way of breaking through, no matter how tightly they cling to their illusions. You didn't need validation from them. You kept moving, kept growing, kept winning, and now they're stuck in disbelief, watching you rise higher than they ever thought possible. As someone wisely said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And here you are, in that winning phase, unstoppable and undeniable. Their ignorance was your camouflage, their doubt your greatest weapon. You've become a living contradiction to every limitation they tried to place on you. They saw a spark but dismissed it, thinking it would burn out. What they didn't know is that you were always destined to be a wildfire, impossible to contain. They thought you were like everyone else, predictable, average, easy to categorize. But while they were busy underestimating you, you were becoming something greater than they could comprehend. You were transforming, evolving and building silently. And now you stand before them, strong, sharp and unshakable. And you know what? They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Your rise has left them stunned because they never saw it coming. They thought they knew who you were, but all they ever saw was the surface. They couldn't imagine the depths of your resilience, the sharpness of your mind, or the fire in your heart. Their assumptions were the chains they tried to bind you with, but you shattered them all. It's like waking up to find that the person they thought they'd outsmart, outwork, or outlast has already crossed the finish line. Now, they're scrambling to adjust, realizing they miscalculated at every turn. Think of an eagle mistaken for a shadow, only for it to soar high above the storm. Think of a river they thought was dry, suddenly flooding the land with unstoppable force. You were never what they expected, and now they can't unsee the truth. As the saying goes, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Let them adjust to your greatness. Let them struggle with their outdated beliefs. You've become everything they said you couldn't be, and more. They're switching sides now, trying to align with your success because they can't deny your power. And chosen one, if you're ready to let the world see you're the real deal and embrace the shift that's already happening, prove it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to wake up to their true power. Comment 77 below if you're done with the old story, done hiding in the shadows, and ready to show up as the force you were always meant to be. People are waking up. Are you bold enough to lead the way? Let's step into this together. You were built for this. The world is waking up. Stay ready. The best is yet to come. Number 1. They thought you were a dark horse, but you're the real deal. For years they dismissed you. They couldn't see the fire within you, the quiet strength that simmered just beneath the surface. They saw a dark horse, a long shot, someone they thought would never stand out, someone they never believed would rise to greatness. It was easier for them to box you in, to label you as someone without the drive, without the vision, without the guts to prove them wrong. To them, you were just another face in the crowd, someone whose journey wouldn't take them anywhere special. But what they didn't know is that you were never meant to fit into their narrow expectations. You were never meant to play by their rules. While they saw limits, you saw possibilities. While they were waiting for the world to hand them success, you were quietly, persistently building it. And now they're left stunned, watching as the person they underestimated has become the very force they never saw coming. It's almost poetic, really, like a seed planted in the dark soil, unseen, unheard, but growing nonetheless, stretching towards the light. You were the seed they forgot to water, but look at you now. You're a full-grown tree, standing tall, casting a shadow they never expected to see. You didn't need anyone's approval, validation, or even acknowledgement to keep going. You believed in your vision, and you kept moving forward. There were times when you were alone, when the path ahead was unclear, when you wondered if you were on the right track. But you kept going. You didn't stop because someone doubted you. You didn't slow down because they whispered behind your back. You didn't get distracted by their assumptions about who you were supposed to be. Instead, you learned, you adapted, and you grew stronger with every step you took. You were the person they dismissed, and now you're the one they can't ignore. As someone wisely said, success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. And that's exactly what you've been doing. It wasn't about a single moment of glory or a big splash. It was about consistent, relentless effort. It was about showing up day after day, even when they didn't notice. You were working, learning, pushing yourself, quietly proving that your potential wasn't limited by their narrow view of you. Every small victory you achieved, whether it was learning something new, overcoming a challenge, or simply refusing to quit, was another step toward the person you were always meant to be. Now, they see you in all your glory, standing tall and strong, and they can't believe their eyes. The person they once overlooked has become someone they have to reckon with. They thought you didn't have the fire, the passion, or the ability to make it. But look at you now, burning brighter than ever. They thought you were a dark horse, but what they didn't understand is that the greatest champions often rise from the shadows, unnoticed until they've already claimed their victory. There's a powerful quote that says, "The strongest steel is made in the hottest fire." That's what they didn't realize about you. You were forged in the heat of adversity, shaped by every setback, strengthened by every challenge. While they believed you would break under pressure, you used that pressure to build your foundation. You didn't let their doubts define you. You didn't let their expectations limit you. You rose because you refused to be anyone but yourself. And now they're seeing the results of your hard work, your resilience, and your unwavering belief in your own potential. It's not just about success. It's about proving a point. It's about showing that they were wrong, that the version of you they imagined was nothing more than a fantasy. They thought you would stay small, stay quiet, stay hidden in the background. But you refused to let that be your story. You've rewritten the narrative. You're no longer the person they thought you were. You're someone they can't ignore, someone they'll have to reckon with from now on. But let's be clear, this didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a sudden shift, a magic moment when everything changed. It was a long, hard journey that you've been on, one step at a time, one decision at a time. Every time you faced failure, you stood up. Every time they tried to hold you back, you pushed harder. Every time they told you it couldn't be done, you found a way to make it happen. You've been building this moment for a long time, and now that it's here, they're stunned by how far you've come. They probably thought you were just another dreamer, someone with no real plan, no real ability to follow through. But you proved them wrong. You've been executing while they were still talking, still doubting. While they were making excuses, you were taking action. You've spent this time quietly sharpening your skills, honing your craft, and setting yourself up for success. And now that success is impossible to ignore, it's like a light shining in the dark, a beacon that they can no longer deny. There's an old saying that the truth will set you free, but sometimes it also makes people uncomfortable. The truth about who you are, what you're capable of, and where you're headed has been right in front of them all along. They just couldn't see it because they were too busy writing their own narrative of who you were supposed to be. But now their false assumptions are crashing down and they're left to confront the truth. You are the real deal. It's easy to write people off when you don't understand them, when you don't take the time to see their potential. But you're living proof that the real power is often hidden beneath the surface. You are the one they couldn't see coming, the one they underestimated. And now they have no choice but to recognize the force you've become. Your success isn't just about the results. It's about the journey that got you here. It's about the quiet, steady determination that led to this moment. It's about the nights you spent working when no one was watching, the sacrifices you made that no one knew about. It's about your ability to stay true to yourself, even when everyone else was telling you to play by their rules. You didn't let their doubts or expectations define you. You proved that you were more than they ever imagined. Now they're looking at you in awe, trying to catch up with the person you've become. And the best part is, this is just the beginning. You've proven that you have what it takes. You've shattered their illusions, and now you're free to step into the full power of your potential. They never saw it coming, but you did. And now, the world will too. You're no longer just a dark horse. You're the real deal. And nothing can stop you now. Number 2, you crushed their expectations. Now they're playing catch-up. They thought they had you figured out. They saw you through a lens of their own limited understanding, holding on to an outdated image of who they thought you were supposed to be. Maybe they saw you as weak, or they assumed you lacked the drive to make something of yourself. Perhaps they believed you weren't capable of overcoming challenges, or that success would always be out of your reach. But now, the truth is undeniable, and you've shattered every preconceived notion they had about you. The person standing before them today doesn't match the image they carefully crafted in their minds. The version of you they imagined is nothing but a distant memory, far from the powerful, unstoppable force that you are now. It's disorienting for them. You've broken the mold they put you in, and now they're struggling to understand how this happened. How did the person they once dismissed become someone who not only exceeded their expectations, but surpassed them entirely? It's like they've been holding on to a map that no longer leads them to where you are. They're still stuck in the past, clinging to the idea that you couldn't possibly achieve what you have, and now they can't make sense of your success. And as someone wisely said, the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. And that's the key. They never understood the real limits. They thought they knew what you were capable of, but what they didn't realize is that your potential isn't defined by their narrow perceptions. Their limits weren't yours to begin with. While they were holding on to a false narrative of who you were busy breaking down walls, tearing apart barriers, and pushing past the imaginary boundaries they created. Every single step you've taken has been a direct challenge to the image they had of you. They believed you would stop, that you would fall short, or that the obstacles ahead would be too great. They believed you would bow to fear or succumb to doubt. But you did the opposite. You showed them that obstacles were never meant to defeat you. They were stepping stones. Each setback, each failure, each moment of uncertainty was just another lesson, another building block that brought you closer to where you are now. Now they see you standing strong, stronger than they ever thought possible, and they can't help but wonder, how did this happen? How did we get it so wrong? The answer is simple. You kept going. You refused to accept their narrative, their version of who you were supposed to be. You understood something they never did. Your success was always within you, waiting to be unlocked. They thought you didn't have what it took, but they didn't know the depth of your resilience. They didn't know how badly you wanted to prove them wrong, how hard you were willing to fight to show them that you were so much more than they ever thought. Think of it like a puzzle they were putting together. They had a few pieces of your life, but they couldn't see the whole picture. They looked at a single piece and assumed they knew the final image. But what they didn't understand was that the pieces were still falling into place, and you were the one putting it together. Every day you added new pieces, each one more significant than the last. What they saw was only the beginning, while you were already building the masterpiece. The truth is, they weren't prepared for someone like you. They expected the same story that plays out over and over, the one where people give up, where they settle for mediocrity, or where they let failure define them. They expected you to become another statistic, another example of someone who didn't make it, who couldn't overcome the odds. But you proved them wrong, and now, as they look at you, they can't wrap their minds around how you defied their expectations in ways they never thought possible. It's almost like they had a script for your life. They wrote your story before you even had the chance to live it. They thought they knew how it would end, and they weren't interested in changing the plot. But you didn't follow their script. You ripped it up and wrote your own. You defied every chapter they thought they had figured out and turned your life into something extraordinary, something they could never have predicted. And now that you've succeeded, they don't know how to react. They're confused, grappling with the realization that they never understood you at all. They want answers, but the answer is clear. You're not who they thought you were. You're not the person they imagined, the one who would sit back and accept defeat. No, you're someone who rises when the world expects you to fall, someone who thrives when others thought you'd break. It's not just about the victory itself. It's about the process, the journey you took to get here. Each step you took was a lesson in perseverance, a lesson in proving that their doubts weren't the truth. It was about choosing to believe in yourself when no one else did, choosing to keep moving forward when every step felt like a challenge. And now that you've arrived, they see what they missed all along. They see the person who never gave up, the person who kept pushing even when it seemed impossible. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. C.S. Lewis. You didn't just dream, you acted. You didn't just wait for things to fall into place. You made them happen. While they were busy waiting for the world to hand them success, you built your own. While they were busy doubting, you were busy doing. And now, all the things they thought were impossible for you are not just happening, they're becoming your reality. And the best part, you're just getting started. Your success isn't just a reflection of what you've done. It's a testament to your ability to break through the limits others placed on you. They thought you couldn't. They thought you wouldn't. They thought they knew exactly what you were capable of. But you've shown them that they were wrong. Not only did you rise above their expectations, you crushed them. And in doing so, you've proven that your story was never theirs to write. So now, as they try to catch up to you, you continue to move forward. They're still stuck in their outdated version of who you were while you're racing ahead, building something they never even considered. And as you continue to grow, they'll be left behind, forever trying to figure out where they went wrong. But by then, it won't matter, because you will have already surpassed everything they thought you were capable of. and you'll be on your way to something even greater. Number 3, your mind's a weapon, and they're just realizing it. What they never understood about you is that your true strength isn't just in your actions, your resilience, or the visible signs of success. No, your greatest asset has always been the power of your mind. They thought you were simply going through the motions, achieving surface-level wins. But what they failed to see was that behind every success, every move you made, there was an intelligence at play that they couldn't begin to comprehend. Your mind isn't just sharp, it's your greatest weapon, one that's been quietly, consistently refining itself while they were too focused on the outside to realize it. You never needed their approval or their validation to prove your worth. Titles, degrees, and awards are nice, but they're just symbols. They don't define your intellect. Your true value lies in your ability to think critically, to analyze situations, and to adapt to whatever life throws your way. You've never been someone to rest on a title or wait for external validation. You understand that true power comes from knowledge, and you have been tirelessly building that power, one insight, one lesson, one piece of wisdom at a time. And as we all know, knowledge is power. They didn't see the hours you spent reading, studying, and absorbing information. They didn't see the countless nights where you pushed yourself to learn more, to get better, to understand the world around you more deeply. While they were busy judging you based on what they thought they knew, you were quietly sharpening your mind, expanding your horizons, and gaining insights that would give you an edge over them. They assumed you weren't capable of achieving something extraordinary, but the truth is, you've always had a mental arsenal that's far beyond what they ever imagined. What they failed to realize is that intelligence isn't just about knowing things. It's about how you apply what you know. It's about the adaptability, the ability to take what you've learned and turn it into something greater. You were never bound by the limits of what they thought you could do. They underestimated the depth of your curiosity and the power of your intellect. You didn't need their permission to learn or grow. You just did it because you understood that the more you learned, the more powerful you became. You understood the principle that growth is never static, and neither is knowledge. Your ability to adapt is what truly sets you apart. While others are caught in old ways of thinking, trapped by what they already know, you've been constantly evolving. You've been open to new ideas, new approaches, and new perspectives that others were too closed off to even consider. They saw you as someone who would follow the usual path, someone who would fit into their narrow expectations, but you were always ready to forge your own. Every challenge, every difficulty, every obstacle has only been an opportunity for you to learn and grow. You didn't let the world define you. You defined yourself by your willingness to change, to expand, and to evolve. They never understood the quiet work you were doing in the background, the mental work that would lead to something far bigger than they could ever anticipate. They were so focused on what you had in front of you, the physical evidence of your progress, that they didn't see the mental fortitude you were building behind the scenes. They didn't know that you were working to outsmart the obstacles before they even appeared. While they underestimated your ability to think, you were preparing to outthink them, to outmaneuver every challenge with a mind that never stopped working, never stopped improving. Intelligence, true intelligence, isn't about being the loudest in the room or boasting about accomplishments. It's about the quiet determination to always get better, always learn, always push past the limitations of what others think you're capable of. You never needed to prove your worth to anyone. You just kept growing, learning and evolving, all while they assumed that your surface-level successes were all you were capable of. And now they're realizing the truth. They can't outsmart you because they've been seeing only the surface. They've been busy underestimating the very thing that makes you unstoppable. They've ignored the power of your intellect, the way you adapt, learn, and evolve. And now they're struggling to keep up. They didn't see the work you put in, the way your mind developed and grew stronger with every challenge, every new piece of knowledge you acquired. They never expected you to be this sharp, this capable of seeing what others missed, and now it's hitting them like a ton of bricks. You didn't need a flashy degree or a loud presence to prove you had the brains to succeed. You didn't need to announce to the world that you were building an empire with your mind, while they were too focused on their own surface-level judgments. You were building something deeper. You've always known that the greatest strength comes from within, from the mind, and now they see it. And that's what makes it even more powerful. Your success is not just physical, it's mental. It's the kind of intelligence that doesn't need to show off to prove its worth. It's the kind of intelligence that changes the game without anyone even realizing it until it's too late. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they could predict your moves, your success, and your future. But now they're left wondering how they got it so wrong. They thought they knew everything about you, but they were blind to the most powerful force you had, the power of your mind. It's not too late for them to learn from you, but they have to be willing to step aside and open their minds to what they've been missing. You've already shown them that intelligence isn't just about knowing things. It's about growing, adapting, and using what you've learned to overcome anything life throws at you. They thought you were one thing, but they're finally seeing the truth. You were always a force to be reckoned with, and now they can't deny it. Your intelligence is your superpower, and it's what will continue to drive you forward while they try to figure out how they missed it. They underestimated you, but now the world will know what they couldn't see. Your mind is a weapon, and it's unstoppable. Number 4. The truth hits them like a ton of bricks. They've had their illusions shattered. For so long, they clung to the story they told themselves about you, the one that made them feel comfortable in their assumptions. But now, that story is crumbling, and the truth is hitting them with the force of a ton of bricks. They can no longer deny what's right in front of them: your intelligence, your success, and your relentless drive. They may try to rationalize it, to make excuses or backpedal, but deep down, they know it. Everything they thought they knew about you was wrong. Someone wisely said, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." And that's exactly what it's doing now. The truth is pissing them off, shaking them to their core, and challenging everything they believed to be true about you. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, easy to predict, easy to dismiss. They saw you as someone who wouldn't rise above the mundane, someone who wouldn't make an impact. But they were mistaken. The person they thought they knew is gone, and in their place stands someone far more powerful, far more capable than they ever imagined. It's unsettling for them, because it's hard to reconcile the person they thought you were with the person you've become. Their narrative has been disrupted, and it's not easy for anyone to let go of a story they've been telling themselves for so long. They built a version of you based on their own limited understanding, and now they can't figure out how the person who doesn't fit their image managed to surpass everything they thought was possible. The truth is inescapable, and it's forcing them to confront their own mistakes. They misjudged you, and now they can't unsee what's been right in front of them all along. They never thought you had it in you. They assumed you'd hit a wall, stumble, or fall short. They thought you'd play it safe, just like everyone else, and that you wouldn't push past the boundaries they set for you. But you did. You didn't just outwork them, you outsmarted them. You didn't just follow the same tired path, you carved your own way. While they were stuck in their comfort zones, you were relentlessly pushing yourself, expanding your horizons, and proving that success isn't a result of luck or convenience. It's earned through sweat, determination, and a mind that refuses to settle. In their eyes, you were just another person, another face to blend in with the crowd. But what they didn't understand is that you were never meant to blend in. You were always meant to stand out, to make waves, to challenge the status quo. And now they see that clearly. The gap between the version of you they had in their heads and the reality of who you are is too wide to ignore. And it unsettles them because they realize that they were wrong about you from the start. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." You didn't stop. You didn't let their false perceptions hold you back. You didn't let their doubt become your truth. Instead, you used it as fuel, something to prove wrong, something to push against. It wasn't just about succeeding. It was about showing them that you are so much more than they thought you were. You knew the journey wouldn't be easy, but you kept going, kept fighting, kept proving that you had what it takes to rise above and beyond anything they could ever imagine. Now, as they look at you, they can't deny it any longer. The truth is inescapable. You've proven that your strength isn't just in your capabilities. It's in your heart, your drive, and your unshakable belief in yourself. They thought you lacked the fire, the work ethic, or the mental fortitude to achieve what you have. But you've shown them that you are a force to be reckoned with. You didn't just prove them wrong, you've outshone them, surpassed their expectations in ways they never saw coming. What they thought were weaknesses turned out to be your greatest strengths. They believed you lacked something, but what they didn't see was the quiet strength, the internal drive that would eventually manifest in your success. It wasn't about being louder or more aggressive than them. It was about outlasting them, outworking them, and showing that the kind of success you've achieved doesn't come from short bursts of effort. It comes from consistent, unwavering determination, even when no one is watching. They'll never admit it, but the truth has shaken them. They thought you couldn't, and now they're struggling to come to terms with the fact that you did. The story they built about you has been turned on its head. The assumptions, the doubts, the judgments, they've all been proven false. And now they have to live with the reality that the person they thought they knew is nothing like what they expected. The version of you they crafted in their minds no longer exists. You've evolved into someone more powerful, more capable, and more unstoppable than they ever imagined. They built their expectations on the idea that you were just like everyone else, just another average person, someone they could easily predict and dismiss. But you've shown them that you don't fit into their little box. You're not ordinary, predictable, or easy to overlook. You're someone who rises above, someone who breaks through the limitations others place on you. They never saw it coming, and now they're left with nothing but the truth. You are not who they thought you were, and you never will be. And as unsettling as it is for them to face the reality, they have no choice but to accept it. Your success, your intelligence, and your drive can no longer be ignored. The truth is now clear, and it's something they'll have to reckon with for the rest of their lives. They'll look at you, and they'll see the person they never believed you could be, the person you've always been. But they were too blind to notice. You've shown them that they were wrong, and now they'll never be able to forget it. Number 5. Blaze your own trail. Let them catch up if they can. You've never been the type to follow the crowd, to take the easy route or meet anyone's expectations. You've always known that your journey is yours to own, and no one else's approval can define your path. So why stop now. Keep moving forward with the same fire that's been propelling you all along. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building the life you were meant to create. You're not here to blend in with the noise or conform to anyone's idea of who you should be. You're here to blaze your own trail, and no one, absolutely no one, can take that away from you. As you continue on your path, remember that not everyone is going to understand your journey. And that's perfectly okay. The world isn't meant to applaud every step you take or cheer you on at every turn. Some people will doubt you. Some will question your decisions, criticize your choices, and even tell you that you're wasting your time. But remember this: their inability to understand your vision doesn't make it any less real. It just means they're not walking the same path. Your journey is uniquely yours, and while some may not get it, those who matter will see the power in your pursuit. You don't need everyone to get it. You only need to keep moving forward with confidence, knowing you're doing what's right for you. Steve Jobs once said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." The world will try to box you in, tell you that you should be a certain way, but you know better. You've learned to trust yourself, your instincts, and your desires. You understand that your greatness doesn't depend on approval or validation from others. It's about the courage to keep pressing forward, even when the world doesn't understand why you're doing what you're doing. Every move you make is a step toward your vision, toward the life you're creating for yourself. While others are stuck trying to please everyone around them, you're focused on what truly matters: your growth, your goals, your happiness. And that's the kind of power that can't be stopped. As you continue this journey, stay focused on what drives you. It's easy to get caught up in distractions, the noise, the doubts, the external pressures, but none of it matters. What matters is the clarity of your vision and the unshakable belief that you are exactly where you need to be. Your growth isn't defined by how quickly you move or how loud your supporters are. It's about how consistently you show up, how deeply you invest in yourself, and how relentlessly you chase your dreams. Keep your eyes on the horizon, not on the people who may still be stuck in the past, not on those who can't see the path you're walking. As they say, don't watch the clock, do what it does. Keep going. You have the power to elevate yourself, to raise your standards, and to step into a version of yourself that the world has never seen before. Every day you have the choice to show up as the best version of yourself, to push past the limits that others have tried to impose on you. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you're ready. You are ready. You always have been. Keep working, keep striving, and don't ever let anyone tell you that you're not enough. You've already proven them wrong. People will eventually catch on, even if they're a few steps behind. The truth is undeniable. Your drive, your authenticity, and your unwavering commitment to living your truth are the things that will eventually shine through. While some might not see it right away, the impact you make, the example you set, and the life you build will speak louder than any words ever could. Those who doubted you, they'll eventually see that you were always a step ahead. They'll see that you weren't just chasing a dream. You were building a legacy, but you don't need their approval to keep moving forward. You've already proven that you are your own greatest ally. You've shown that no one can hold you back, not their doubts, not their judgments, and certainly not their expectations. Keep pushing forward with the same conviction, the same fire that's carried you this far. You're not here to fit into their molds, you're here to break them. And as you keep blazing your own trail, let them catch up if they can. Because while they're still trying to understand your journey, You'll be out there creating your future, one step at a time, unshaken and unstoppable. You've come too far to look back now. Keep climbing, keep evolving, and keep trusting the path you're forging. People will eventually recognize your truth, but by then, you'll be far beyond where they ever thought you'd be. Your time is now, and you're only just getting started. Chosen. 1. The truth is out, and it's undeniable. They're waking up to the reality that you're the real deal. The doubts, the assumptions, and the limitations they placed on you are crumbling because you've proven them wrong. Your intelligence, resilience, and determination have shattered their expectations, and now they're left watching you rise. You've shown the world your strength, and the best part? This is just the beginning. Keep moving forward and keep shining. Your time is now, and the world is about to see everything you're capable of. If you're ready to keep rising, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Comment 77 below if you're ready to embrace your truth and keep moving forward. Keep blazing your trail and let them catch up if they can.